Hi, this is Jen.
And this is Brittany, and we're the Village Homeschoolers.
And today we're talking about
Summer. Now what? Hi guys, welcome to the Village. It is a balmy day up here in the Northeast. Contrary to popular belief, we don't just get snow, it gets hot.
oh, what is it, 78 degrees outside?
That's yeah, it gets hot. It gets hot if Englanders. As a Floridian, I laugh that I no longer have the staying power I used to. I'm now like, oh my gosh, 80 degrees. Where's my fan? But I would like to point out that a lot of buildings, homes up here don't have air conditioning. I grew up where everybody had air conditioning because it was a health hazard if you didn't. Everybody had air conditioning because it was a health hazard if you didn't. And so here I am, constantly sweating to death in the summer months. I do have a window unit.
Mine's not in.
Yours isn't in?
No.
It's a bold choice. Bold choice.
It'll
Jen.
get there eventually, maybe.
Yeah, I know. And then you get to this point because you still will get days in mid-July that are like low 70s.
Yeah.
Windows are open. Fans.
And the nights are pretty cold here.
Yes, still. So then you're like, do I really want to spend money to put this in? The only reason I think we put ours in is nighttime, though, because our room gets really stuffy, and my husband is a furnace.
Yeah.
So it's like there's just heat wafting. My husband is a furnace.
Yeah.
So it's like there's just heat wafting off him at 2 a.m. And I'm like, I'm going to need to go sleep in the shower.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, it's a interesting coincidence that we're talking about this today because we just had last night what's the equivalent at an end of the year summer solstice dance.
And it was amazing.
It was amazing. And what was even more amazing about it is that Jen and I didn't have to do very much of it.
Yeah, because we have new leaders helping us out. And then we had a lot of people.
Yeah, they had a whole committee. They made this. It was a fabulous
amazing.
party. We danced. Yeah, really, it's what life's all about. So we sound like we were out all night dancing.
And we feel like we were out all night dancing.
Yeah, and we were. We had a really, really good time, and it was super fun. And so later today, because in the infinite wisdom that is, this was my fault. I'll take the fall for this. Infinite wisdom that is, this was my fault. I'll take the fall for this. I scheduled a planning meeting for fall 2022 for our entire co-op this evening. So it's just the perfect scenario to tell everybody that it's summer. What are you doing now for your homeschool community? Because I was talking to some people in our community a couple days ago, and I was like, remember in March when we were all, we should do that this summer, and we should do that this summer, and we should put that on the calendar, and we need to go here, and we can get a group rate if we do this. And now we're all like, oh, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Literally nothing. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Literally nothing. Like, please don't ask me to do anything. It's that time.
It is.
It is that time. The burnout is heavy. Mm-hmm. You've made it through the academic year. Even if you're a year-round homeschooler, to some extent, you're kind of following activities are over. If your kids do activities outside of the school. Outside of your homeschool, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's just like everyone's done.
I know. I really struggled to finish my curriculum.
Oh,
where I'm like, we'll skip half of it.
Yeah.
Just do a report or something.
Yeah.
Skip half of it.
Yeah.
Just do a report or something.
Yeah. Is that art project that important? We don't need to read that book. Yeah.
Do we need to know any history past, I don't know,
18.
Reagan?
Yeah. Explains so much about America. Yeah. I know. We're really in this. My oldest has like 6 math. Oh, here's the review and the assessment. And that's a dirty word for homeschoolers, but that's what we have. And I'm like,
You know this, right?
Yeah. And she does.
Good,
math is her thing, so it's like pretty okay. But I'm like, I am a finisher. I like to check the box, and I'm sitting here going, well, maybe we'll do. I like to check the box, and I'm sitting here going, well, maybe we'll do 1 a week. But then by the time we do 1 a week, it'll be time to start back up with the new
We do
curriculum.
year-round math because my son forgets how to add and subtract if we take a week off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's always fun. Oh, so you don't really get a break.
No, but it's only math we do year round and reading. But
Yeah, all the time. I kind of forget that that's a horrible homeschooler thing to say. But I'm like, oh yeah, reading. Yeah, I guess we do that all the time. I'm such a reader. I love to read, so that's why. And my kids do too. So, but yeah, no, the burnout is heavy, and I'm feeling it's palpable with everyone in our community. Palpable with everyone in our community and outside. I think part of it is that we're all really overstimulated and exhausted. I don't know, well, a little bit for you, but I know for me, I have kids who play baseball and I have kids who dance, and we just had our huge dance recital week, which is basically living, working, eating, breathing. And it's just so much. And I'm so exhausted by the end. And I didn't dance. I just was backstage. My kids are also really exhausted. And then baseball season just wrapped up the week before our dance recital week. And it's like, and there's parties like, oh, we're going to have a party to celebrate the end of blah, blah, blah. We're going to have we just had a co-op party. And you're like, we just had a co-op party. And you're like, I'm done partying. I don't want to make something for a potluck. I don't want to buy an outfit to wear to that.
I know, and I was so enthusiastic about the dance. Like I had signed up for all these things, and by closer to it, I'm like deleting things I was supposed to make off the list.
I know. Normally, like I'll bring 14.
Yeah.
And I was like, I brought 2. Yeah, they were not difficult things to make. Although somebody did compliment my pesto and asked for the recipe. I was like, well,
it was pretty good.
There's one win. But yeah, no, I mean, I think people are just done. Like we're done. You want that. We want to just sit someplace.
In the air conditioning.
Yeah. Or in water.
And our TV broke.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Because that's like what you want to do. Like, I'm going to watch a movie. I want to read a book that's absolute trash.
Yeah. So we're watching everything on a computer screen in the living room.
Oh. So much
like
for
2
summer
feet
movies.
away from us.
Oh. So much
like
for
2
summer
feet
movies.
away from us. Like, here's a documentary we have to watch for school on this little screen.
Yeah. Can you read the subtitles? Yeah.
I think we watched The League of Their Own, and it was like...
yeah. We watched that too on Memorial Day weekend. That was good. Although there's a lot of things in there I did not realize were in there until we...
My son asked a few questions.
Oh, yeah.
And I forgot it was so saucy.
Yeah, it is sassy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah, this is
all the way May.
Yeah. Well, and then like to be totally fair, every time I watch these things and people like these days are like, kids these days with their inappropriate music and inappropriate, and I'm like, maybe we were just as, and I'm like, maybe we were just as bad.
Like probably worse.
Yeah, 90s rock.
Yeah,
it was all about drugs and. Yeah. So yeah, I do think. Yeah, I think that all the time. But anyway, we're off on a real tangent here. We haven't even gotten started. So today we are going to talk about what do you do now to keep your homeschool community raring to go for fall? Because August and September, depending on where you are in the country, may depend on when you start. I know when I lived further south, we started earlier. And here we start right around Labor Day. It's when we kind of start back up to our normal schedule. Normally the Friday before Labor Day is when we start. And it's coming. Yes.
So how do we keep everybody enthusiastic for the fall when everybody's already so done?
So done, including us.
Yeah.
So and I mean like we've said this before. Jen and I are the opposite end of the spectrum from the Melody, but I feel the urge to put things off right now, which is very rare for me. And so I know other people who are less intense.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. Less crazy than I am have got to be feeling that way. We're all kind of feeling the burnout like that. And it's summer you get all of a sudden you look at it and you're like, oh gosh, it's August 5th.
Yeah.
And we're starting co-op in 3 weeks. We're starting schoolwork back in 3 weeks. We're starting life back in, Jen's really on Jen's face. So we're going to talk about what you do about that. What do you do to keep going? Forward progress when everybody just wants to sit on a beach with a...
Yeah. You'll have to drag me through the summertime.
I know.
Get me enthused about the fall.
Yeah. And I mean, we are enthused. But right now you couldn't enthuse me about much. Can I use enthuse that way? I'm going to. Yeah. So this is actually not my idea or Jen's idea. This was done by the people who led our co-op prior to it. prior to us. And they did this really, they have a spreadsheet that I actually weeks ago, and they basically say, set the date you want. So if you're going to register new families for co-op on this day, you need to have this done 3 weeks beforehand. You need to have this done 6 weeks beforehand. You need to have this done 8 weeks beforehand. And that is the method we have used. And that is the method we have used now to keep ourselves on task. So we set deadlines for ourselves and for everybody else in the co-op, teachers, co-teachers. We set these deadlines based on that. So we know we register the second week of August is when we register our current families, and then we go to our waiting list. Every date back accordingly. And then I normally add an extra week. That's my little twist on it, because again, there's that intensity coming out. But I'll say, like, if we need to have classes submitted by 6 weeks, okay, the deadline is 7 weeks before registration. I need you to send your class proposal in. So that we can decide what classes we're going to hold in the fall, what field trips we're going to hold in the fall. And so we work backwards like that. We send a lot of reminders because it's summer. So time is kind of this amorphous thing. So we're like, hey, 21 days till this deadline. You have 15 days till this deadline.
And you hope they read the emails.
Well, we're going to get to this, but yes, you hope, but if you send it enough times, they may not read it every reminder, but they're going to catch one. That's the hope, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
You're going for basic inundation here, I also think it's really important to track the progress. So like, people will always come to us and say, well, do you need a class for the fall? You can't ask us that without us launching into a diatribe about, well, maybe this age is low, this age is blah. Spreadsheet now that everybody has access to. And when somebody submits something for the fall, we put it on the spreadsheet so they can see
what's still open.
Yeah, what do I need? If I want to help, how can I help?
Yeah.
Do we have enough classes for fall? It's kind of a subtle way to, I don't know. How would you say it? Subtle way to intimidate people to help. But like, do you see this glaring opening here for ages 6 to 9? We need somebody to fill it.
Yeah. Hint.
Hint, hint. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So yeah, letting the whole group, the whole community see what the progress is will help them.
Because a lot of people do want to just fill in where there's an empty spot.
Right.
I mean, some people have ideas like, this is definitely what I want to do and what age. And other people are like, whatever.
Yeah.
So those whatever people can look and be like, okay, well, we need whatever.
Right. Exactly. And hopefully at this point, you kind of understand what your group wants. We've talked about survey them what they want, because that helps some people get direction as well. And then we also like to have at least one, maybe 2 meetings over the summer. We're trying them in the evenings now, so we can do them with as few children as possible.
In theory.
It's not a perfect situation. Because we live in a community where most partners and co-parents don't work 9 to 5, but including ours. But yeah, we're going to have a few meetings so people can chat, brainstorm, help each other. We can have some in-person pressure, like who's taking the 4-year-olds kind of thing. And so it is good to put a few of those on there. And then the last thing that when you're kind of doing that and tracking your progress, it's a good idea to reach out to the people who are new and interested or waiting on like a waiting list like we have to get into your homeschool community or co-op, because they're trying to plan their fall too, right? We're getting into that season where we're like, okay, what are we doing in fall? When am I taking dance classes? When am I going to go do horseback riding? When am I going to do lacrosse? Those kinds of things. And so people kind of want to know, am I going to be in a homeschool co-op? Best to communicate with them at least once over the summer. Like, this is when you'll hear from us if you're going to get in. These are the ages that we have the most openings for. So like when we tell our waiting list people, we always let them know, like, hey, the older kids 10 and over, like if you have children over that age, you stand a pretty good shot of hearing from us in the second week of August.
But if you have just a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, We might be waiting a while.
Yeah, you might be waiting a little bit longer, but we don't know, blah, blah, blah.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, so just kind of communicating with them, because they can get really frustrated if they're just kind of sitting in la la land waiting for something that may or may not be happening.
A lot of emails like, did you email me and I didn't know it?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
What's the status?
Yeah, and so reaching out to them at least once is a really good idea. Maybe you're not in a situation where you have people waiting, and if you aren't, maybe summer's a great time to get to know those people and welcome them in. But we unfortunately can't welcome 57 new families into our co-op. So we just kind of send out an email and communicate with them over that time. It is really important at this time for the sanity of yourself to encourage others to help.
Yeah.
Like we did with the dance.
Yeah. Or we got 2 new leaders recently.
Yes.
That helps a lot.
Yes. Like we need help planning things. We need help figuring out what outings and trips we're going to take, any events like dances and holiday things we're going to do. Summer's a good time to have a lot of input. Mm-hmm. Like to remind people you're not a dictator.
Huh.
Sometimes yeah. So yeah, I think that is really, really important. And so we welcome the input, open the dialogue, have people plan things. Maybe people who plan things.
Yeah, outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because we try not to plan anything other than classes.
Right.
And
the administrative stuff.
Yeah, the administrative stuff, because it's overwhelming sometimes to have to plan all
Right.
these little events when we're trying to run an entire co-op.
We're doing a summer book fair, and I was super excited because one of our newer members, who has not ever been able to contribute in that way because she just joined our co-op a couple months ago, she was like, okay, let's do this. Isn't this a great idea?
Yes.
And I was like, yes. And she planned it and she submitted it and put it on our website. And I'm like, that's what we're looking for in the summer.
Exactly.
Like, just give it a shot. It's a low pressure situation.
Like, we do a lot of fruit picking over the summer.
We do love to pick fruit.
We do a lot.
I don't know if this is just our part of the country, like rural New England.
Yeah.
Or if this is a normal thing, but it's like literally once a week. There's like, we're going to get cherries. We're going to get raspberries. We're going to get blueberries. We're going to get blueberries. We're going to be there at the crack of dawn.
Yeah.
Give your kids a bagel and let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. Let us know. Is that specific to us?
We love it, though.
Does everybody pick fruit all summer with hordes of children? Yeah. Low stress. No, like tomorrow, we're just going to a river that a bunch of us love to go to, and like we're gonna sit there with our feet in the water, and our kids are gonna wade in. It's real shallow, and play and collect things, and
that's a great outing. Like, it's low stress.
Yeah.
You don't have to really plan anything. Just show up.
Yeah, this is the address. This is the address.
Swim shorts.
And this is the time people are going to be there. Mm-hmm. It's great. So yeah, like really, that's when you want to reach out to people and be like, I think I say a lot over the summer. That's a great idea. You should plan that. And when it's just going to the local farm to get blueberries, going to the river, we live 30 minutes from the coast. So going to the ocean or the lake or whatever, it's easy.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a high stress situation. You don't have to plan some huge event. It literally can just be, we're going to the beach.
Right. And the perk to those outings is they really kind of keep your community alive. Those casual get-togethers, potlucks, going to play in the water at a splash pad or a playground, like that keeps the connection there between the adults and the children. And some casual conversation often ends up leading into, you know what would be really fun this fall? We should do a field trip to blah, blah, blah. Let me look up to rent a bus.
Yeah.
That actually did come up recently.
So, Mom, if you're listening,
yeah,
we need you.
Yeah. Jen's related to a bus dynasty.
I come from generations of bus drivers.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, my grandmother, my great-grandfather.
That's a valuable skill in this environment.
I miss my calling in life.
Yeah. Maybe we rent one and have you drive it, bring you back on track. But yeah, so like it definitely helps keep the community going, even in a very casual way. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. Everything is really expensive right now. Mm-hmm. Gas is expensive. the cost of living, groceries are expensive.
Potlucks are expensive.
Yeah, everything's expensive. So
Yeah.
like if you were just like, this is a location that's about 15 minutes away from everybody in our group, we're going to go here. It's free. It's easy. You just come as you are. That's going to keep you connected really, really well.
And include everybody, even
Yeah.
people that can't. Because sometimes when we go cherry picking, I'm like, I just spent $100 on
Right.
5 pounds of cherries or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, the fruit picking. That is the downside. Yeah. And yeah, or like if beach access, like, and this depends on where you are in the country, but some beaches are public access here and some are not. And like,
We have been known to park outside of the park and then go.
or we also do beach nights because
Yeah, that's true.
after 5:30, a lot of the private beaches here are free. And so then when it's like 5:30, there's a line of mom vans just waiting to get in
Yeah.
to the beach. And we're like waiting. But you know what? It's super fun. But yeah, keeping all that in mind, keeping in mind what's going on with the current economic situation in the world. It's not just here, but we mostly are speaking about the United States. Keeping that in mind, like, keep summer low key because it also keeps it affordable and it allows you to remain connected to everybody in your community. Now, this is something I don't think we're very good at, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because sometimes I like to put my foot in my mouth. And there's a reason we're not very good at it. So I'll preface that. This is a really good time to encourage outreach. And by that I mean talking to the greater community outside of your homeschool community. Now that could mean, hey, let's go do
Strangers.
not strangers. Yeah. That could mean just going and doing community service and like networking of sorts, right? And I think we do an okay job of that.
Yeah. We do have a community service day. We usually do
Yeah.
once a semester.
Yeah, and we rent space from a church and they do a lot of community outreach and we've been known to help them in the past with like
Collecting cans of food and that kind of thing.
those things, neighborhood cleanup, stuff like that. So that is a good way to make connection community. And that's out past your co-op or your group or your play group or whatever. And that is what we don't do a great job of. Now, the reason we don't do a good job of that is kind of intentional, actually. It is because...
Is this like a West Side Story thing where we're like...
Yeah. We have a gang rivalry with a group across the river. No.
Sorry.
I did like a little snap there, though. No, it's more that we have a really long waiting list and we have a growing homeschool community. And it stinks to go be like, okay, we're going to go to all these homeschool conventions with our co-op and invite people to get on our waiting list that they're not going to get off of for a year and a half, 2 years.
If that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we stopped doing a lot of advertising. We stopped putting a lot of information on the public side of our website, not because we don't want people to join.
Yeah, obviously that's why we started a co-op, because
Right.
we want people to have community, but
because it seems mean to be like, come join our co-op in 2.5 years.
like, look how awesome we are.
Yes.
Psych.
And so
Yeah.
we stopped doing that. That's actually, as we've said, part of the reason we did this podcast, because other people need to get out there and take the leading, that dance has gone to my brain. You know what I'm trying to say.
We did get a lot of sleep.
Yeah. Take the co-op bull by the horns.
Yeah.
And so if that's you, if you're starting, you want your community to grow, find the homeschool conventions that happen over the summer. Come onto our podcast. We'd love to have you. Go find where the other greater homeschool community is, the social media pages. Do you have a Facebook group? I know. No one likes Facebook. We're all on it, except for Jen, but nobody likes it. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, get yourself some social media presence. Outreach. If you want your community to be robust, you need to include people. You need to grow, especially if you're new and starting. So summer's a good time for that.
It is.
Yes. Now, that being said, no matter what you're doing, whether it's outreach, beach get-togethers, picking 80 tons of blueberries, you're expect low participation.
Yeah.
Lower your standards over the summer. Even us, where we would have a field trip in April and it would have 75 kids signed up. Now, if we do one, what are we thinking?
Half. That.
Yeah, 30. That's low for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's part of it's just the way it is, like vacations. are happening.
I mean, I'm going to be out of state next week.
You're
and
missing stuff, aren't you?
I'm missing cherry picking.
Oh no, not fro picking. Yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're out. I'm gone for a week in August. Actually, very unfortunate for my fellow co-op leaders. I'm so sorry. Not registration week.
That would kill
Jen
you.
is literally staring daggers at me. But the week before we start, I'll be back in town 7 days before we start co-op.
Yeah, it's okay.
So yeah,
I mean, you're only there for kind of moral support anyway. Registration week.
that's true.
Registration week.
That's true. That's mostly Jen's job. God bless her. It's a fun
I
one.
might train our new leader to do it.
Good
luck, buddy.
I suggested that. I was like, give somebody else this job. This is, yeah. So, but you have year-round schoolers, people who school year-round, so they're like still following a little bit of a different schedule. You've got people who are just like, it's summer. I'll see you in September.
Yeah.
You know, you've got people taking vacations. You have people sometimes, I know people who work over the summer because they can make some extra income over the summer. There's just a lot of reasons. So
Camps. Lots of camps.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We aren't even big camp people, and my kids are in camps this year.
Yeah.
They're in camps this year.
Yeah.
You're doing tennis camp with us.
Yeah, and then my son has a whole bunch of like karate tournaments and
Yes.
3-day
Yes.
training things. And
Well, and then like we are not doing karate camp ourselves, I'll be honest, but then a really good friend of ours who's a member of our co-op is testing for her black belt an hour away. I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to go and cheer her on. Like she's in our dojo and she's a member of our homeschool community and she's also my neighbor and we're friends. And I'm like, I feel bad. She's up there doing this huge thing in front of this panel of international people.
yeah.
And we should go support her. So yeah, like stuff like that. You want to go do that stuff because it's summer. So just know that life is going to get in the way of participation. Do not take it personally. It does not mean your co-op group is failing. It does not mean your homeschool group is failing. It just means that it's summer.
Yeah.
So yeah. And this is why we go back to the low key, like we're all going to sit together.
At the beach.
Yeah.
Because we've done that.
Yeah. I'm going to have the teenagers come over and play board games and video games. Like we're going to have, the good old fashioned play date.
Yeah.
And we're not going to bring activities or crafts. We're going to sit here and be like, there's a playground, go.
Yeah.
Like that's,
Yeah.
like that's basically what I am doing with my youngest. Like when we go anywhere, I'm like, I don't know what you have toys, you have stuff, go play with your friends. Yeah. There's sticks out there in that yard. Yeah. So that's when it's the low key is really good. Now, it is important, and this, well, maybe not for you, I don't know, is the communication. You have to be consistent about it because, like I said, people are not going to read it. All of a sudden, I looked at Jen last week and I go, oh, people aren't reading the emails. And she goes, no. I said, no. No. I said, no. Like, I know I'm like, they may read 1 of 6. And we really try to send like 1 to 2 a week. And they're very low key. They're like, somebody had a baby. Yay.
Yeah.
This many days till your class proposal, and we'll see you at the dance.
Yeah. They're not
On
like
Wednesday.
long, huge emails.
Right.
They're usually just quick little bullet points of what's
Right.
happening.
Doesn't matter. People aren't reading them. And I get that humanity, we're just done. So you have to be consistent. You have to keep going, and you have to be kind of frequent about it. So most people catch 1 of 4. At least, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then as summer gets on, start to ramp it up. So like right now we're being real low key. Like
Yeah.
here's a very short email once a week. No big deal.
Yeah.
Here, and then like as we get into August, we'll start to be like, okay, your registration date is blah, 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 blah. This is your volunteer agreement for the day. This is when we have a meeting. This is when your fees are due. We tend to get more intense as we go. But that kind of matches people's energy level because they're getting more intense about planning their schoolwork
Yeah.
and their plans for the air quotes academic year. And yeah, sometimes you just have to like match people's mental state. Get people in the habit, like as they ramp up into their fall routines and things like that, then you can ramp up your email stuff. But you do have to keep doing it, even if it feels fruitless.
Yeah.
Typing like, no one's going to read this.
I read it.
Thanks. Yeah, ironically, she doesn't need to. Although I didn't read something in my own email a couple weeks ago and then was surprised by it. I missed a date or something, and I just copy and pasted it into the email. Sent it out. And someone's like, that's on blah, blah, blah. I was like, it is? Oh my gosh.
So I see somebody was reading the email.
Yeah, somebody was. Yeah. It might have been another leader. Not one. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, so that's basically where we are. Any other tips for the co-op slide, Jen?
Not good at it either.
Just survive. Yeah. I mean, it really is just a matter of like, try not to put off what's coming.
Yeah.
Because it's coming.
I know. So fast.
Yeah.
It's like I just finished.
Yeah.
Like we're not even 100% finished the school year. And then I'm already like, oh, it's not that far away.
Right.
Starting again.
Right. Well, I was in Target, and they're putting the school supplies out.
I know. I was like, why are you putting book bags out?
I know. Like my kids were like, ooh, pencil case. I was like, turn away now. We are not going over there. An index card is my love language. But
I don't even want to look at that stuff until it's clearanced in October or something.
I don't even want to think about it. I mean, like, and I should, because I'm going to be honest with you. We are out of construction paper in my house. We are out of glue sticks. We are out of markers. We're like, have like the peach marker and then the olive marker. Mm-hmm. That's it that's left. Like we have to do the I don't know.
I'm like, how am I buying dry erase markers like once a month?
Yeah.
Where are they going?
I don't know. Well, I have some slight suspicions. My middle child likes to be like, I'm going to color this map. And then takes a handful of markers, brings them into the room, and then doesn't put them back. This makes a lot more sense if you know this child.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and she does. So, but then it's like we're cleaning them up later, and I'm like, sure, one's living under my couch now. And then when I move the couch to vacuum, it's going to go with it. And I'm not putting that lavender marker back in the marker caddy. It's going by way of the trash.
Yeah.
So everything like disappears. Everything. I have a dog that really loves to chew on the handles of scissors. So I even need to replace my scissors.
Dangerous.
Yeah. She's large, so.
See, I have tons of scissors because people keep leaving them at events, and I go, whose scissors are these? And everybody's like, don't know. So I'm like, okay, they're mine now.
Well, maybe they need to be, they all just shop at Jen's house for scissors. But yeah, it's coming. I mean, the capitalism of America is showing us the school year. Well, and it makes sense. If you're down in the South, where I used to live in Georgia, they start school the last week of July.
Oh,
yeah.
Yuck.
Which... Yeah, well spoken. Like you're like a true Northeastern lady, but country, and so we all fall along the same timeline when it comes to Target merchandise. Halloween will be here in September, people.
Yeah, and then Christmas
in October. Yeah. So I think, but it's a reminder, and go in there for some sunscreen, and I come out with highlighters, pencil cases. I have my kids in pencil cases. Yeah. All right. Let us know how you handle summer as a homeschooler. Let us know how your homeschool group handles summer as a homeschooler. Please share in the comments on our social media. You can find us on Facebook, and that is thevillagehomeschoolers@gmail.com. And we'll be back next week. We'll talk to you later.